College football week 4 best bets are on the way. In this video, we go through some of the biggest games on Saturday, give you our favorite picks for all of them, as well as dive into a couple other games that maybe you don't have your eye on, but we think there's some value out there on the board. As always, it is Austin, joined by Logan. Logan, great week last week for you, 4-2. I went 3-3. It's not going to cut it, but 3-3 weeks fine. I do want to note my two picks that weren't the top 4 games did cash. So I was getting in my bag for those winners. Let's keep things rolling in this week for Logan. Before we dive into things, this video is brought to you guys by Underdog Fantasy. As you guys should know, in this video at the end of the one, we talk all about some player props that I love for Saturday's slate of action. So again, if you want to sign up for Underdog, you can certainly do that. Use code COS or the link in the description. Available in all these U.S. states. There's some cool site-wide promos out there for especially the NFL for Sunday on Underdog. So don't forget to take advantage of that. But Logan, enough of that. Let's dive into these games. As always, they're all timestamped down below. Let's start with one of the biggest games on the slate as you head out to Lincoln, where the Nebraska Cornhuskers play host to the Michigan Wolverines. Right now, you're looking at Michigan as 2.5-point favorites, more or less a pick 'em, and the over-under is at 47.5. Logan, do you have a play on the side for this game? What should the people be betting on?
I do have a play on the side, and it's going to be Nebraska on the money line. I'll take a shot on Nebraska with the plus value there. Now, you could take them 2.5. Again, it's one of those numbers that's not really a key number. In my opinion, you should probably bet it up to +3, but then you're laying some juice. And I just think either Nebraska is going to win this game outright or they're going to lose. And if they lose, I imagine it's going to be a little bit by more than a field goal. Now, let's analyze this matchup. Oklahoma gained over 400 yards of total offense on Michigan, which is something worth noting because that was a big step-up game for that Michigan defense. They didn't look all that sharp. Dylan Raiola is the leader of this Nebraska offense. He's hitting 77% of his throws, 8 touchdowns, and the biggest number in there, no interceptions. Knock on wood. That's me knocking on wood for Patrick Mahomes Jr. But really, the run game looks really good for this Nebraska team. They have a veteran offensive line, and when you got a good offensive line, that's definitely a good way to move this ball on this Michigan team. They're third in the country in third down conversions as well. If you have that type of third down efficiency against a good defense, that will get you far. Nebraska's defense, on the other hand, 3-game streak of holding opponents under 100 passing yards. Now, I mean, that's kind of crazy, but their defensive backs, they look like a really solid unit in as far as, in the Big Ten competition. And that's what you're going to need. You're going to need those DBs to step up, hopefully, kind of confuse Bryce Underwood, limit Justin Haynes on the ground. He's the Wolverines' talented running back. Nebraska can force Michigan to really lean on the passing attack, maybe take away Bryce Underwood's legs, force him to throw from the pocket. The Cornhuskers secondary can definitely be a big factor in this one. So give me Nebraska with the outright win. I think they beat Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, I like the play. I didn't really have a great lean on the side here, but I do have a lean on the total. I do like the under in this game at 47.5. I'm just still not sold on Bryce Underwood. I get he put up crazy stats against Central Michigan, but let's be honest, Central Michigan's not all that great. Going on the road, we know Nebraska, that stadium's going to be fully sold out. Everyone's going to be in attendance. And I really think that they're going to struggle on offense, just like they did in Oklahoma. I think it's going to be a tough sled for Michigan scoring the football. However, for Nebraska, you could say, sure, you could point out Dylan Raiola, no interceptions. They haven't played anyone legitimate. They've played just all trash teams. They played Cincy, right, in week 1. Like, I'm not high on Cincy at all. They've just been playing trash teams, and I really think this is a tough spot. Now, John Mateer, you kind of referenced Oklahoma. He was able to have some success, but he also ran the ball 19 times, 2 touchdowns on the ground. That is not Dylan Raiola's game. I could see him maybe making a mistake in the red zone or maybe just throwing it away, taking and settling for a field goal because his defense has his back. I love the under here. I think 47.5, this is a slugfest. I think it's just a low-scoring game. It's like a race to 20 almost. I really love the under in this game, Logan, and hopefully it correlates with the Nebraska win at home. I know the Nebraska Cornhusker faithful are in desperate need of some big wins. Let's see if they can get one on Saturday. Our next game, we head to a battle of 2 ranked teams. One of the few on the slate this weekend as Auburn heads out to Norman, where they'll be taking on the Oklahoma Sooners. Just talked about John Mateer, and what he's been doing so far this season has been pretty remarkable. The 11th ranked Sooners, 6.5-point favorites. The over-under at 46.5. Logan, I'm pretty high on this Oklahoma team. I mean, we saw what they did to Michigan. They stifled them. I'm going to be rolling with the Sooners here. You could bring up stats and stuff like that, but I've loved what I've seen out of John Mateer, taking control of the football, converting on third downs with his legs, and I just am not bought in on Auburn. I get they have the Jackson Arnold revenge game here, but there's a reason Jackson Arnold still isn't the QB of Oklahoma. It's because the man stinks. He just isn't good. And I just don't think he can convert the plays that John Mateer can. I know there's some revenge and stuff like that. Look at the people that bet on that revenge narrative last week with Mensah going back to Tulane. Logan knew that one. He smelled that one from a mile away. I still just not bought in on this Auburn offense. And what I really like is that Oklahoma defense. It's been playing out of its mind on third down. They've been crushing it. So I'll roll with the Sooners. -6.5, a little bit of a big number, but I think they keep things rolling on Saturday. But Logan, what do you like in this game?
Yeah, you read my mind. We're going to both be on Oklahoma together. We'll both lay the points with Oklahoma. As you mentioned, Mateer versus Jackson Arnold. I got a stat for you. John Mateer has more completions, 71, than Jackson Arnold has attempts, 69. He's nearly matched Arnold's rushing production, too, which is something that Jackson Arnold relies on. 161 yards, 4 scores of his own. You kind of mentioned Mateer does give them more of a dynamic offense, and I think Oklahoma's going to win this one kind of going away. I could see this one really spiraling out of hand because I agree with you. Jackson Arnold, not one of my favorite quarterbacks to really back. While the offense has been, able to open up the playbook really, for Auburn, the defense has really struggled. Baylor had 13 pass plays go for 12 yards or more. They're getting the explosive pass plays, and we even saw South Alabama generate a methodical drive in some of those possessions. If we're just kind of looking at this one, Oklahoma's defense has been amazing. Sooners have just allowed 7 for 41 on third down conversions. A crazy good number. If they can get Auburn off the field, they can force Jackson Arnold into some difficult spots. I'm totally with you. Give me Sooners. I'm all in on them.
Yeah, I mean, I good luck Auburn. I think it's a tough spot for them playing in Norman. That crowd has something to root for after a couple down years. I think that's a big year for the Sooners. At least it's shaping up to be one of those. Our next game, Logan, we head out to Miami, where your Gators are taking on the 4th-ranked Miami Hurricanes, who have been dominating teams this year. We saw them dominate USF last week. Logan, can you count to 5 for me? Because that's how many interceptions Mr. Lagway had last week. What the heck is going on with your Florida Gators? We all know you're a Gators fan. Normally you're rocking a Gators polo, but that kind of goes to show what we're rocking with so far this season. I'm going to let you give out your play for this game because you're the Gator fan. Where do we stand on the Gator Nation, baby?
To say Gator Nation's down bad is an understatement. We as Florida fans have lost all hope at this team. Billy Napier, don't let the door hit you on the way out. We're really kind of tired
I do
of Billy.
think, Logan, we cursed a couple teams. You picked Lagway as your Heisman guy. I did Cade Klubnik. Talk about 2 disappointing teams so far.
I know.
3 or 4 weeks. We're sorry, Clemson fans. We're sorry, Florida fans. You can blame us, fine. But all right, give away your pick. What you got here?
No, and that's the thing too. We're talking about Florida. It's like as a Florida fan, I had expectations. I knew this was a daunting schedule, but really just to lose these games, how they're losing it, to really just struggle offensively. I'm going to lean into that struggle offensively. Let's make some money on that. I'm taking the Gators team total under 21.5. I hate their offense. I don't even care what Miami does offensively. Florida could win this game 20-17. For all I care. I mean, that would be cool for a Florida fan. Doubt it happens that way, but that could happen. And I don't even care what Miami does offensively. I'm just isolating this to the Gators offense versus a very talented Hurricanes defense. Gators offense has scored a combined 26 points in their last 2 games. Austin, is that bad? Sure as hell ain't good. That is terrible. Negative turnover margin. You had DJ Lagway throwing just to the wrong team. I mean, it was classic like Sam Darnold seeing ghosts out there. It was like wherever he was looking, there was already a DB standing there, and then he just launched it right to him. And it was incredible to see. Now he faces a Miami defense that's been a really good unit. Just 3.1 yards per rush allowed, 14th in the country. Defensive front generates a tremendous amount of pressure. Ruben Bain, he'll be drafted on Sundays. He's a great edge rusher for them. Miami's just giving up in terms of yards before contact. They're 19th best in the country. Their secondary is giving up just 1.8 air yards per completion, 24th best in the country. Really, where's Florida going to find success on this one? I really don't even know. And what I do know is about Florida's offense is it's not dynamic. Damn it, it could be 3rd and 8. And what is Florida doing? Throwing a bubble screen or a tunnel screen or just some sort of high completion percentage, not going to get you enough yards. I don't understand this Billy Napier offense. There's so many, Gator fans that are calling for his job, and it's because he runs a very simple, not hard to stop offense. USF came into the swamp and made us look very bad offensively. And don't even get me started with the holding penalties. If you ever see Florida get a 20-yard gain, just know it's coming back. because these offensive linemen cannot block to save their lives without holding. So rant over. Just give me the Gators team total under. This is not going to turn out into a shootout, at least on the Florida side.
Yeah, all right. Did it feel good to get that all off your
It
chest,
did. It
man?
felt very good. That was
Yeah.
therapeutic.
I feel like that. Yeah, we don't get paid for this. So, uh, I like your team total under there. I'm going to take the full game under. If you guys remember last week in the USF Miami game, I was on the full game over. And that one cashed. Did take a miracle. But I do like the under here. You already touched on the Miami defense. I think they can do their job against Florida's offense. But I think this Florida defense is keeping them in games. I mean, the fact that they were in that USF game when they played terrible on offense, congrats to them. The fact that they only gave up 20 points last week or 23 points, whatever it was, to LSU, they turned it over 5 times. If you're turning it over 5 times, your defense has got to get winded at some point, just consistently giving the ball back to the opposing team in good and favorable territory. And they were consistently able to stop them. Now, I would say this Miami offense is the hardest one that they've run into. LSU's offense has kind of taken some time to get going, but it's not like Nussmeier's bad. I mean, he's a pretty good quarterback. He's at the top of the Heisman, trophy, odds and stuff like that. I know Carson Beck has seen Florida before, but they've also seen him before with his time with Georgia. I think they'll be able to maybe force a couple field goals here, maybe force a turnover. I think that's the only way that Florida has a chance to cover the 8.5. I don't know where the percentage of money is, but I can guarantee you one thing. It's not going to be really on the Florida Gators. It's how much percentage is on Miami, and that could be free for all I care. I just think this is a lower scoring game. Now, 51.5 is not easy. I mean, look, Miami could score 41, and if the Gators give me 10, I'm still cashing on the hook. So I do like the under there. 51.5. Give it to me. And then our fourth and final game of the slate before we dive into some individual games plus some props, Logan. We have another ranked matchup as the 9th overall ranked Illinois fighting Illini take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Now, it's a weird spread because you have a 9 versus a 19. Not a huge shock to see Indiana favored here, but 6.5 is quite a lot of points. The money line is 225, minus 225, over under 52.5. Logan, I've been on betting a lot of the last couple Illinois games. They covered for me against Duke. They cashed the under last week. I'll save my pick for a second, but what do you like in this game? What are you feeling here?
I hope maybe we can channel a little Illini, love here because I'm taking Illinois on the spread. I'll take the points with them. I just think the difference in this one's going to be a guy that you've touched on before, and he's looked good when we backed him, Luke Altmaier. I mean, he's really helping this Illinois offense look great. They're averaging 45 points per game, 15th in the nation. He's having a veteran quarterback like that in college football. Just the importance of that cannot be understated. I mean, this is the sport where you can see those experienced quarterbacks just look light years ahead of those freshmen or even sophomore quarterbacks. So I like having that in the back of my mind, just knowing that he's experienced. The offense has yet to turn the ball over. Defense has been amazing, getting in the backfield, 17 sacks on the year so far for Illinois. They're just doing a very good job of generating pressure on both sides, winning the battle up front. And that's, I think, what they're really going to do against Indiana. I mean, that's going to be the edge in this one. Indiana's weak spot defensively is up front and against the run, allowing 115 rushing yards per game. That's 54th in the country. Nothing special there. I think Illinois is able to run the ball, and in this Big Ten matchup, a lot of times what we see in these matchups is who can win the line of scrimmage, and it's just that simple in football sometimes. So I think that's what we see here. Also, the Hoosiers haven't really played anybody of significance. This is going to be a big test for them. Being at home, I think this is going to be a close game. I just don't see Indiana being able to run and hide from them. So give me Illinois plus the points in this one.
Yeah, Logan, normally in these videos, I like to bet against you just for fun, just to have a little spice things up.
How'd that
This
work,
video
Georgia
really
Tech?
haven't been different a whole lot, but I can't bet against my Fighting Illini. So I will be in agreement with you. I'll take them plus the 6.5. I think this is a field goal type game. I like the Fighting Illini. Now, I like what you said about Luke Altmaier. I've talked about it many of times before. He's been really good for him. And it's not like he's going out there and, throwing for 400 yards, 6 touchdowns and stuff. He's a game manager, maybe a little bit better than that. And that's kind of all the Illinois Fighting Illini need. They just need a guy that won't turn the ball over and will just consistently convert on third downs because their defense is a really legit unit. That's what he's done the last 2 years combined. 30 touchdowns passing and 6 interceptions. So again, not making mistakes and just moving the ball down the field. And I think he's going to be able to do that against the Indiana defense. I think this is a tight game. Could be high scoring, could be low scoring. We've seen Illinois play in some high scoring games and win those ones. We've seen them play in some dogfights before and win those ones as well. I think this is a closer game. I just do. I think this is a +6.5 feels like too many points. If this was like 3.5, maybe I'd feel differently. But 6.5 just feels like a lot to give me to my fight in the line. And I got to keep rolling with them. Whether it's an over, whether it's an under, whether it's betting on them, I will roll with them once again. But Logan, it's time to finally dive into some individual games, some games that we have not talked about in this video, some games that maybe people aren't checking out, but we think they should. Since you went 4-2 last week, I'll let you lead things off with your first, a different type game. Where are you going, man? Take it away.
Yeah, so, last week we were hot. Hopefully we can continue that. We like to talk about games that aren't the primetime games that all eyeballs will be on, but my eyes will definitely be watching this game. It's going to be Tulane and Ole Miss, and I'm riding with the over 61.5 in this one. That's currently where the line is, and I think there's this is that one has shootout written all over it. Let's talk about Tulane, a team I've backed twice now, and they've treated me right both times. I love what Retzlaff has added to this Tulane team. They're fun, and while I would like to back them on the spread, I could see Ole Miss kind of running them down offensively, just being able to overpower them. Let's talk about Tulane's offense, though, averaging 30 points per game, while Ole Miss ranks 17th in the nation at 44.7 points per game. Two juggernauts on paper offensively. I think we're going to see some points in this one. Ole Miss, known to go fast. I love up tempo offenses 4 and over, especially with Kiffin. Trinidad Chambliss stepped up last week versus Arkansas, 353 yards. Tulane's defense really isn't shutting down opponents like I wanted them to. I mean, that Duke win, really, it wasn't in question, except for that defense kind of let Darian Mensah come back in there, and he threw for over 300 yards. Last week, South Alabama had 231 yards through the air as well. And that's why I'm not on Tulane, because I just question. I'm seeing some cracks form in that defense, and they're not as strong of a unit as I once thought they are. And we can kind of flip it over to Ole Miss's defense, who I think is liable to give up some big plays in this one. No pass rush really whatsoever. Swiss cheese when it comes to the run game. Ole Miss ranks 118th in the country in that category, with opponent rushing yards allowed, almost 200 yards per game, 106th in sacks. Look, Lane Kiffin's calling card, never been defense. That's just not something he really cares about. He just wants to win, going fast and overpowering you offensively. Perfect for an over in this one. And I really think Retzlaff will be able to get some ground yards. If you kind of look at Ole Miss's game log, they've struggled versus some of these dual threat type quarterbacks. Tulane averages 222 yards per game on the ground. With Retzlaff, having a quarterback that has the dual threat capability is just something that we can't ignore here. And two weak defenses, two pretty solid to great offenses. Give me an over, Austin. I just love this one as my first pick as total. Give me some points in that one, but what's you rolling with?
Yeah, I mean, I got to balance you out with an under. Of course, you guys know I love my unders. I do want to note, though, for your game, Logan, I do have a couple props in that game. So stick around for that. I have 2 props in Logan's game. Let's talk about this under, though. Let's get it out of the way because I have another pick that will be an over. I love James Madison and Liberty. Give me the under at 47.5. What the heck, Austin? Where the heck are you going here? Yeah, I'm going to these games, man. I love this under at 47.5. It's about -115. Look, I look at these two offenses. And I don't see a lot of inspired football coming from either of them. I think it's a low scoring affair. If you talk about James Madison's offense, I don't really know what the heck they're doing passing the ball. Like, this is a team through 2 games has thrown for 282 yards on 58 attempts. I mean, barely, they don't have 300 yards passing through 2 games. It's not like they've been playing blowouts. I don't know what they're doing. They have 91 rush attempts. So again, a very run heavy offense. That's fine if you got an under. Chew out the clock. If you want to score a touchdown, at least make it a 6, 7, 8 minute drive. Now on the other side, Liberty's offense, I don't know what the heck you're getting from them. They're starting QBs completing 59% of his passes, and they want to run the football as well, but this is a James Madison defense. We've talked about the last 2 years. They've been a great defense up front, stopping the run. So I think you're going to see a lot of 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11. You're going to trust on this QB and Liberty to be able to consistently convert passes when you're not even completing 60% of his passes. I think it's a tough spot for Liberty's offense. I do think that they can potentially win this game, but again, they're 6, 7.5 point underdogs at home. You're going to fight, so your defense should show up, but I can't trust their offense, man. JMU's defense is pretty good. I think they can go out there and play pretty well. Liberty coming off a loss. I think they show up here. I'm not sure they win it. I'm not sure they cover it, but but I think if they are to cover it, it's got to be a low scoring game. I love James Madison, love Liberty. Give me the under 47.5. We've been dominating on these unders in these random games. I think this is one of those random ones that you look at the score at halftime, it's like 10-3, and it soars under. Love it. But Logan, you got another pick for the people. Take it away.
Yeah, so my next one's going to be a spread, and it's a bigger spread. Probably one of the bigger ones that I've laid this year. It's going to be Virginia, and I'm taking them on the spread minus 14.5 is where it's at right now. I'll lay the touchdown in the hook, so obviously they have to win by 15 or more. But even in this situation, I just think they are going to dominate this Stanford team. Number one, travel factor. We can't ignore that. Anytime these weird ACC cross country matchups happen, I always wonder how the West Coast team does out on the East Coast, because this game starts, obviously, it throws off their rhythm, especially for that Stanford team. This Virginia offense, no trouble putting up points on the board so far this season. It's not really been talked about enough because Virginia's not a flashy team. But among the ACC, the Cavaliers rank first in points per game, 44.7, and at yards per game. So they've been a great offense. I think that what they're going to do is they're going to set the tone early and keep Stanford playing in catch-up mode, and that's not where Stanford wants to be. They want to make this an ugly game in the trenches, low scoring, and I just think Virginia's going to be able to run and hide. They're going to have to force Stanford to throw the ball really to keep up in this one, and that's not something Stanford wants to do. Stanford's passing game ranks 121st in the nation, averaging just 145.7 yards per game. I mean, there's a chance that this is one of the worst offenses in the Power Four conferences. Gil Branson, he's just not that guy. I mean, I think Virginia should be able to handle him. And then we can talk about the Cavaliers offense for Virginia. Chandler Morris is a quarterback that I like backing in college football personally. He's been lighting it up this season, 25th best in the FBS, in terms of passing yards. Stanford's defense also allowing, almost 240 yards per game through the air. That's 33rd worst among FBS defenses. Just a terrible matchup, really, for the Stanford defense against a quarterback that I think is very talented, and I think he's going to lead Virginia, pretty far this season. Stanford lost 8 of its last 9 road games. Just they're really a different team, away from California, and they're far away from California. Just think about that on a map, right? We're not all geography people, but California and Virginia, whole other side of the United States. I don't think they're going to be able to really hang with Virginia in this one. Cardinals have had trouble covering the spread too. Just one of their last 7 games. I just think their offensive struggles combined with their defensive struggles in this one, all signs are pointing to Virginia winning in a big way. I think they win this one by 20 plus points. So I'm going to lay the 14.5 comfortably. Go Virginia. Get it done for us. But Austin, you got a second pick. What you rolling with?
Yeah, I got a second pick, and I got some player props to wrap up the video. My second pick actually is going to be talking and fading a team that just faced Stanford just a few weeks ago. It is a team that you could take them on the spread if you wanted to. Last week, I called West Virginia plus 7.5. I got a lot of comments saying, Austin, West Virginia sucks. And I didn't disagree with you, but they won outright. It was a lucky, but they came through. This week, I'm going to East Carolina. Give me their team total over 20.5 points. So that might seem weird, Austin. You haven't really taken a lot of team totals, and you're right. I like this team total more than I do them on the spread at 6.5. Do I think they can cover 6.5? Yes. Do I think they could score 21 points and not cover 6.5? Yeah, I think that could happen because I'm not really bought in on East Carolina's offense or defense. I don't really know what the heck I'm getting from them, but I think their offense shows up, and I think it's led by their QB, which we'll touch on in a second. Now, like I said, they will be taking on BYU. BYU's coming away from Utah. This will be their first road game of the season, and who are their first 2 games against? Portland State and Stanford, who Logan just talked about. 2 of the worst teams in football, in college football, man. Stanford sucks. They are abysmal. So while you could look at BYU's defense and look at their stats and points per game and stuff, I don't really care because they're playing a bunch of high schoolers, it felt like, out there. Those teams stink. Now they get a very good ECU team, a very motivated team to be a big name program like Stanford. I get Stanford has not been good in a hot minute, but again, still Stanford. They have fans that will travel to games. And I think ECU comes in here at home and scores 21 points. Caton Hauser, their QB, off to a terrific start. They've played some decent teams. 72% completion, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. The last 2 games, we've seen them put up 56 and 38 points. Now it was against Campbell and Coastal Carolina. So again, we're not looking at the best of the best. But what I really like about ECU, their rushing attack, It doesn't really exist. They can't really run the football well. So you're going to see them throwing it a lot. And that's fine with me because if it's incomplete, fine. It's a short drive and we can hopefully get back out there soon. I think that they're going to be able to put up points on BYU's defense. I'm not sold on their defense being all that good. They face some really weak competition. I think Caton Hauser is pretty good. He's had a couple years in the system. And I think they're able to put up points here. So I really like Caton Hauser. I love him. I think he puts up 3 touchdowns for us. Give me East Carolina team total over 20.5. And finally, I wrap up the video with my Underdog slip. A reminder on Underdog, if you sign up using my code COS, you will get a match on your first deposit up to $1,000. There's some site-wide promos for Sunday's NFL slate. Don't miss out on them. You'll get a free pick as well for, I forget who the free pick is for Sunday NFL. You get it. So join. It's for a guy to get 1 yard. He's going to get it done. Finally, here you go. I talked about some player props in one of Logan's game, the Ole Miss and Tulane game. Here's what we're rolling with. I love all 4 of these props. We are long overdue to cash one of these. This will be out 6.38 extra money. Jackson Arnold, he's throwing an interception. Give me that. Jake Retzloff, Logan touched on him. I love his over 239.5 passing and rushing yards. I think that's a high scoring game. And Retzloff is a guy that can do it in the air and on the ground. I love it. I know he'll lose yards if he gets sacked. He's not getting sacked. He's running away from it. Kawan Lacey, love his over just to score touchdowns, man. That's all we need. And then DJ Lagway, we talked about throwing 5 picks last week. We only need 1. And there you go. That's my Underdog slip. I love it. I think it's cash in. Reminder, code COS. They'll give you a match on your first deposit, plus a free pick, plus a bunch of other things. If it's in your state, you should be signing up. But that's going to do it for week 4 of college football best bets. Let's have ourselves a great week. And we'll be back again next week recapping how we did. One of us is long overdue a 6-0 sweep. We could certainly get it. I feel it. And let's have ourselves a week. And we'll see you guys back again next week with some more. We do have a similar video for the NFL, but in that video, we go through every single game on Sunday. Go tap into that video. I'll link it right over here. All of our player prop videos will be live on Saturday, maybe one by the time this video is live. If it is, I'll link it down there as well. Let's go. Let's get it done. Let's have ourselves a week. See you guys in the next one. Peace.